Hello and welcome. I'm Trip, and in this video I get to replace my transmission in the K24 FRS because my fourth gear is on vacation. I don't know where it went. So at the very beginning of this year, the car started having issues getting into fourth gear. It's usually only at like really high RPMs. Just had to shove it in there and find that little sweet spot. But over time, and over the last few track events, it's gotten progressively worse. Unfortunately, it sounds like it's starting to become kind of a common thing to lose your fourth gear in these swaps. I don't think it can handle the VTEC. But at Road America, it got extra bad, so I figured it was time to get another trans. This is a used trans. I could not find any low mileage on it. I think this one has like 130 miles on it, unfortunately. But the good news is it was cheap. It's only about $300 all said and done. It's a good thing about these trans. They're not very expensive. And notice this guy's cracked. Luckily, I don't need this guy. This goes in the bin. It is pretty dirty, pretty nasty. I'm about to scrub some of that stuff off before I throw it in the car. But first, we gotta get the old one out. Since I've had the swap, I haven't had to pull the trans or the engine out. As far as transmissions go, it shouldn't be too bad to drop it, get it out. This won't be fun. And while I have it out, I might as well replace the clutch. Got a Exetti clutch. And also the new improved KPower Selector fork. It's a little bit different from what they have. These actually have bushings in them. The original one doesn't. To get rid of any slop that I might have. So I'm going to replace that. Unfortunately, most of the fun is going to be underneath the car where you can't really see. It's hard to see on film. So I plan on removing the header and the mid pipe, flex pipe, but leave the vector exhaust on. Remove the drive shaft, so disconnect 4 bolts back there. And it should give me plenty of room to reach everything else under here. I should be able to get away with leaving the shifter in though. I just have to remove essentially the pin, the cotter pin that hooks up the link to the bottom of the shifter. Now I got a little bit of a game plan. Let's get dirty. Hey, I got the header and the drive shaft out. Not bad at all, pretty easy. I always thought this thing, the car was a little loud. Now I know why. There's a hole in here.
Stop blowing holes in my ship!
Not surprising. I've had to weld this thing up a few times in a few different places. Like here. I think that same spot next to it I've had to weld. Which is kind of a sucky spot. I'm going to try to re-weld it. I can't promise it'll be good. There's also, probably hard to see on camera, but there's like a hairline crack here as well. So I'll probably clean that up and re-weld it before it gets bigger. Okay, I got the shift link gets disconnected. Just pull the pin where it connects to the bottom of the shifter. Pretty easy to get to. So I don't have to mess with the whole shifter inside the car. Got my slave cylinder off. And these plugs and that ground, which is probably the hardest part. Because on these swaps, there's a lot of stuff going in this area. So trying to get your hand in there, and you essentially had to do that blind. But I got it, not too bad. Next, I think I'm going to do the bill housing. I did notice I'm missing a bolt here. Oops. Hey, you want to call in there and get those for me? You know, do me a solid.
We are nothing more than dust. Search but you stay lost. We are reaching for the stars, but we're making this too hard. And I wonder where you are. Mysterious, that's the part you always
Eventually.
curious. Maybe you should take it slow. Mysterious.
Hey, good news. Transmission out. Bad news, I wasn't recording when I pulled it out onto my chest. Might be a little sore. Yeah, it might be a little dirty too. Need a bath. It's a lot of tight clearances to get it out. Yeah, remember, the transmission is 5 inches farther back with the K24 than it was with the FA. So it's a little bit closer to the firewall. It was also hanging up on the transmission mounts. At first, this was above the transmission mount. You can see where it's kind of gnawed up a little bit because it was stuck above it, and I essentially had to force it down and to get the wheel out of it. A little tip: you want to make sure the wheel of it's down and out and hanging in the back end before you try to pull the bill housing away from the engine. But then I have the issue of the bill housing hitting the firewall. There's like a little shield that goes over your brake lines and fuel lines. I should have took that shield off before I tried to pull it. So I removed the jack because it was just hanging there, just barely hanging there by the input shaft. I just didn't have enough clearance. So I went in there and I was going to push the transmission back in so I can remove that shield, and the whole transmission just fell on my chest. You can see a black mark. Also, my phone was in my pocket. Luckily it didn't destroy that. Now we can take the clutch and pressure plate off.
That's the part you always show. Curious.
Clutch out came out pretty easy. It does seem to have a decent amount of life left on it. But the reason I'm replacing this guy, the sack clutches, there's a few cases where the pressure plate would come apart. I think it might be these straps that snap. If you overrev the engine, you know, miss shift or something, those cases this guy will come apart and potentially destroy itself and destroy the transmission, and even a case where it destroyed the engine with it. So yeah, so it's kind of a ticking time bomb. Probably should have got rid of it sooner. That's why I'm going with a trusted Exetti. It's not like this car is pushing a ton of power, so I won't need anything super fancy clutch wise. I've always gone with Exettis over the years. I've used a bunch of them, always had good luck, so that's why I'm going back with them. I also pulled off my clutch fork off both trans. I've been running a Veris aftermarket fork because the factory ones have a potential to crack. It's very hard to probably see on camera, but it looks like there's some hairline cracks around the bubble though. Granted, this one has a lot of miles on it. So if you have an FRS BLZ, you're doing a clutch, this is something you might want to look into. If you're doing it, go ahead and replace the clutch fork with something that's thicker, beefier. So clean the back of the engine, make sure everything looks good, everything's tight, nothing's loose back there. Just K's like to vibrate everything loose. I shaved down part of the transmission where it sticks out, where it was hanging up on the mount. I also shaved down the mount where it was hanging up. So hopefully that makes the new one go in and out a little bit easier. This little shield off the firewall, so hopefully that'll help as well. But now the new clutch can go on. Then once it's on, I can swap things over to the transmission. Like this guy can come off, don't need it. Using the whole shifter assembly can come off, the mounts, and install the shift fork.
Take it slow.
Good, I got everything swapped over on the trans, fork end, everything's looped up. The only thing left is the actual shifter fork thingy, clutch fork. I don't know what the thing's called, shift fork, this thing. Honestly, mine is, I feel like it's fine. Some people said they had slop, and I really don't feel any slop. The new one just has these bushings in it, and also came with these guys, the personal. Comes with this super lube. Probably needs it because it's a tight fit. Another thing to note is if you have a IOP shifter or one like it, I think we found out if you do it the way the book tells you, the KPower tells you, with the IOP shifter it binds up a lot. So yeah, flip it. Okay, a little tip, it was really hard to get these little bushings in here. So I got a nut and bolt set up with some spacers and squeezed it on. That seemed to do the trick pretty good. Okay, this transmission's pretty much ready to go back in there. Not looking forward to it. You better give me a hand this time. Hey, it's a new day. And now it's time to do the part that I'm kind of not looking forward to. Is putting that guy back in there. So let's do that. Hopefully she fits better.
6.5 hours later.
Finally, the damn transmission is in. That guy did not want to go in at all. I must have been messing with it for 6 hours, maybe? Just to get the guy transmission mated. I just did not want to line up no matter what I did. I even took the whole trans off at one point to double check that the clutch was the right clutch. And it did fit, the splines were right. Tried to put it back up and fight when it's more. It's actually the next day. My arms feel like jello from holding it over my head for so long.
I'm too old for this shit.
Still gotta hook everything else up, like the slave sonar, some of the wiring, drive shaft, header. I need to weld up first, so let's probably do that. Okay, I got a few welds on this guy, and down there does not look pretty. It's really hard to get in there and grind the old stuff down. Bit of the location. It's like I can't really get anything in there. Tried to get that guy in there. So it's worked on some of it, but not a lot. So yeah, hopefully it holds. But now that can go back in. Okay, I got pretty much everything hooked up. The drive shaft, the header, O2 central, most of the wiring. Has put some fluid in it. Got the slave sonar hooked up. Only thing left is the power ground harness, which I went and picked up from my boy Eli. So I had to charging harness power wire ground kit made for the swap. It entitles all the grounds, the wires for the alternator and starter. It's very good quality, very nicely made. And yeah, it's been on this car for like 2 years, and I've had 0 issues out of the powering starting system. Like, I've done a ton of track days, put a lot of heat through this, and it's never skipped a beat. So if you need a power harness for this swap, or maybe some other K-swap cars, hit up my boy Rocky Top Deluxe. He was previously One Hard, but now he's just Rocky Top Deluxe. My harness was kind of the guinea pig, the first one, so since the car was down, I took it off and he looked it over, see if there's any changes we needed to make to it, anything like that. And everything is perfectly fine the way it is, so we didn't make any changes to it. Just gonna throw it back on the car and send it. And that's the only thing that's keeping the car from running, so let's put that on. Okay, got all my power wires and grounds, got the battery in. Only thing left to do is start it, and I hope I didn't forget anything or mess something up. Good luck. Hey, success. I didn't feel anything too funny. Went through the gears. Of course, it's up on jack stand, so I was able to turn the wheels, but there's no load on it. Start up first try, no issues. Like I said, never had any issues out of those wires. If you want some, all I have to do left is put the lower skid pan on, take it off jack stands, take it for a test drive. Ow. Damn old transmissions out to get me. Hey, now I know that the car starts and it runs. Obviously made it outside. I need to take it for a test drive. It's a good morning, so I'm gonna go take it to Nashville Cars and Coffee. It's like a 25-minute drive, so it should be a good test. Okay, made it to Cars and Coffee, still early. This place normally gets super packed. Usually some pretty good turnouts. Very nice SS Camaro over there. But transmission did great. Went smooth through all the gears, nothing funny. Did a good little highway pull, make sure everything goes into fourth, because that was my main problem child, was going to fourth. Went in the fourth at high RPMs. Shifter feels good. Pretty sure if the new KPower linkage made the shifter feel stiff again, a little bit more stiffer than it was. So it's a plus. Pretty sure not gushing any fluids, so yeah. The only thing I'm super worried about is the transmission does have a lot more miles than my old one did. Like my old one maybe only had 70,000 miles, this one has like 130. So yeah, almost twice as much. So that kind of sucks, but it was cheap. It's like $200 for a transmission. So if it blows up, I guess buy a new one. Guess I'm gonna walk around and see what comes out this weekend. Normally some pretty cool exotic cars and old classics and stuff. So we'll check that out quick.
We're dreaming in the dark. We are nothing more than dust. You search but you stay lost. We're reaching for the stars, but we're making this too hard. And I wonder where you are. Mysterious, that's the
that is it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Hopefully I don't have to pull another trans here soon. But I did get rid of one of my cars. I got rid of my WX yesterday. And hey, that's a big wheel coming in. Which means it frees up another parking spot in the lot. So I'm looking at other toys, maybe another driving discipline. So come back for that. But until next time, peace out. Don't do anything I'll do. Have a good day.